Chamchoum, welcome to Unboxing.
Then unbox me.
Introduce yourself without mentioning your religion, career, accomplishments, your awards. Who are you?
Chamchoum from Mizyara, North Lebanon. I love people. I feel comfortable only around people. I don't think anyone has as many enemies in Hollywood as me. My father took me, dumped me in Normandy in France, which was 2 hours away from Paris. No family whatsoever. In
Tell me more
every
about it.
woman, I looked for my mother. I missed her by a day.
You made it that day before she passed away. What would you have told her?
I can die in peace. I've done everything I wanted to do.
Chamchoum, welcome to Unboxing.
Ahlan, unbox me.
You're ready.
I'm ready to be unboxed by you anytime.
I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to start our conversation with this question so we can set the tone for the conversation, okay? If I ask you to introduce yourself without mentioning your religion, your career, your accomplishments, your awards, who are you?
Chamchoum from Mizyara, North Lebanon. Mizyara Hmes, North Lebanon.
Okay. والنعم أهلا وسهلا. But I want to know more about like who are you behind like the titles and the accomplishments and the labels and the country.
You know, whatever I'm going to say, people are going to say he's an obnoxious, arrogant, whatever.
Nobody says that.
People do say this, you know. I mean, who am I? I would like to believe that I am a loyal friend, a human person. I love people because I am passionate about people. Some people are passionate about reading, some people are passionate about, I am passionate about people. I love people. And I feel comfortable only around people, especially women. Why? Maybe it comes from my childhood, probably. But I do feel very comfortable when I'm surrounded by women.
Since you open and you talked about your childhood, let's begin from childhood. Okay. So you were born in Niger. Tell me more about your childhood and how.
Yeah, I was born in Niger because my father was a peanut grower. We had farms in Niger. So where we lived, it was, the nearest town was Zender. That's where there were more white people. Where we lived was called Magaria, and it's at the limit of the Sahara Desert. And we were the only white people. And the other white people was the commandant of the circle, because in those days it was a French colony. And you know, the French government would put people responsible for each district. So the commandant of Magaria, our district, was French, of course. So we were the only white people. I was there until about the age of 4. Me, and then I had a sister after me. And all I remember is I was this little skinny kid, not like now, I mean skinny.
You still look healthy.
I was black, I mean literally black, because I was in the sun all day. And I would play on the mound of peanuts. I would jump into the peanuts. This was my life when I was a kid, you know. And the language that I used to speak was Hausa, which is the indigenous language. And you know, it's funny, since I was a kid, I was very attached to people. And I had a woman who took care of me. Her name was Dada, God rest her soul. I can't say this, but yes, she was fantastic. She was like a second mother to me, and she raised me and my sister.
How was your relationship with your mother and father?
Great. I had a great, especially with my mother. I was very, very close to my mother. My father He was a wonderful person. I mean, I hear a lot of stories about him to this day, and especially in Niger, they really worship him because he did so much for the country, you know, and he was in the administration, in the commercial side of the government, and but I was more, yeah, I was very, very close to my mother. So yeah, we lived literally. There were only, you know, indigenous African people, Niger people.
Okay. Speaking of childhood, so we're gonna do like an inner child work, okay? I'm testing this for the first time with you. So when you were a child, whose love did you crave more, your mother or your dad?
Who did I what?
Crave, like when you were a child.
Oh, who did I crave for?
Whose love did you crave more?
I would like, I mean, I would say my mother, but I loved both. I mean, my father.
Okay. And who did you feel you had to be in order to receive that love?
Oh my God, that's a very deep question. I don't know. I never thought about this.
I want you to think about it. Because this question, it actually explains a lot of our dynamic and behavior as adults and in life and with other people. So the question is, who did you feel you had to be in order to receive that love, your mother love?
That's a very tricky question and very deep, and I don't,
It's not
honestly,
tricky.
I don't know how to answer this question.
Anything comes to your mind, who you had to be?
And as I said, I loved them both.
Did you have to please? Did you have to accomplish a lot of things? Did you have to be a great...
No, this is something, it never occurred to me to
How did
please
you-
my parents. I did what, you know, I've been extremely independent since I was a kid. And my parents helped me be independent. They were always supportive. And when I did something wrong, they never raised their voice. Yeah, my mother used to raise her voice when the girls made a mistake, but me,
Because maybe you're the oldest, you were responsible to be
maybe,
like...
but because I don't know, my sister always said, oh, you're her favorite, etc. But I don't think so. Yes, she has a leaning towards me, but I never really was this kind of person who wanted to please somebody. Let it be my parents or let it be whoever.
No, that's an example, but the question is more about how did you receive that love, or who you had to be to receive that love. Sometimes, I got an example as a pleaser. I was a people pleaser. That's why I gave that example. But you can maybe be perfectionist, maybe protect your other siblings. How? And we're gonna take a trip back to when you were like 5, 6.
Yeah.
When did she love you the most, or you felt like you were loved? My hair.
Honestly, the love, I felt it from both, definitely. But again, I hate to repeat myself. I felt very close to my mother because my mother was more vocal. My father was, you know, the kind of person who was extremely,
Calm?
you know, calm. And I remember one time he said, you always jump when people are talking and you want to talk. Let people talk, listen to them. And this is something that really followed me for many, many years. Even when I was on the set with Roman Polanski, he would tell me, shut up, you talk too much, stop asking questions. Ask me question after we finished. With Sydney Pollack, who's, God rest his soul, was a dear friend. Sydney, I remember we were in Moscow once and we were having lunch, and who was at the table with us? Ruben Mamoulian. Imagine a legend of the cinema. And I'm not going to ask, so I asked questions. So Sydney said, George, please, can you just shut up? You talk too much, just shut up. And can you just listen? So this has been something that always...
Were you impulsive?
Yes, I am actually. When to think about it, yes, I think I am impulsive. And I like to ask questions. I like to know. I'm very inquisitive. I want to know. I want to know so many things. And again, as I said at the beginning, I'm a people's person. For example, just an example, when I fly a lot, I go a lot all over the world, but now the past 30 years, I go mostly to Central Asia and to Asia, Southeast Asia. I don't go to museums. I don't go to where, you see monuments or whatever. I always say, these I can see in a movie. Some people say, you're crazy, it's not the same thing. Yes, it is the same thing, because I reflect myself that I am there and I'm seeing this as a person, even though it's on a screen. But when I go to those countries, I go to places you wouldn't believe it. The seediest places. Why? Because that's where you meet the real people. I would sit with them, I would have lunch with them, I would have coffee with them. I'm very blunt when I go and see people and talk to them. And
you just approach them and
yeah, I just talk to them
with a
as
genuine interest.
Yeah, who are you? What do you do? Etc. I mean, this love of human being is something in me.
And that's how you started your career in film. How did you start your career in film
How did I
making?
start my?
Yeah, you were very young when you started.
Yes, I was actually young, because I did movies when I was 8 with my 8mm. I was 8, 9, and I still have those movies that I digitized lately. And there were movies that were 30, 40 minutes. I used to do them up in the village with my friends, childhood friends. Some of them are gone, God rest their soul, but some of them are still alive. And when I go to Lebanon, which is once or twice a year, first thing I do is I see my friends. I'm so happy with them because I love them. There's nothing more loyal than loving than your childhood friends. The new friends are new friends. So,
because we're talking about childhood, you said 8, 9, that's when you started filming. And also 8, 9, when you were 8 years old, that's where you started a boarding school, right?
Yes.
How about that phase? Because for us, our parents in general, they want the best for us. So
of course,
your dad picked the best school.
Yeah.
That's the good side. But there's a dark side for it.
Especially in those days. In those days, people, parents, I'm not demeaning them, but they always think, okay, what can I do for my kid? What is the best thing? But sometimes they don't think about the psychological repercussion. And for me, it was really, I carried it for a long, long time. I mean, imagine, my father took me, dumped me in Normandy in France, which was 2 hours away from Paris. No family whatsoever.
How was that time?
How was it? Very painful.
How did you use to express your sadness?
I cried like you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I wanted my parents. And
did that affect and shape your relationship with your siblings? Because
actually, my siblings, they were in Lebanon, and I would see them every Easter, Christmas, and summer, always.
But it's different than to see them,
living
different than living with them.
Yeah, of course. No. Of course it did. I was very close to my eldest daughter, my eldest sister. She was a year exactly younger than me. And we were very, very close. And she was, in many ways, up to this day, she is like a mother figure to me. She is our matron. She's the family, she's everything, So, but did I know them well? No, I did not know them well because I was away. I was away all my life.
How did that shape your personality or who you are? Not spending years where you were young child, 8 years old, studying and investing, but a bit disconnected from your family. Especially back in the day, there was no cell phones or anything like that. How did that?
Okay.
So you said you're very independent. Maybe you're
yes,
independent because you didn't have a choice?
It made me independent. Yes, because I had no choice, of course. It made me independent. I mean, I know some of my friends at the school who, same situation as me. Their parents were either in Zimbabwe or in Congo or Laos. Like these guys, Prince Sewanafuma was with me, Lumumba. Chombe's son was with me. These guys, their parents, same thing. They were far away. They didn't have anybody. So personally, I gained a lot of independence. I love my independence. To this day, I like space.
Now, but when you were 8?
Yes, I liked space. I always liked space. Not that I was the kind of kid who would sit on the side, read or no. Yes, I loved reading. I loved going to the movies because it's something that I did all my life since I was a kid. And since I
Loving
was-
space and loving being independent and maybe spending years alone with other kids, but away from your family. And then you move to as an adult, to relationships. Do you think you've been married 3 times? Do you think that has to do with your childhood?
Yes. In
Tell me more
every
about it.
woman, I looked for my mother. Even though they were younger than me, I never had a woman older than me,
But-
which doesn't bother me actually. But no, I always looked for a mother's love. It wasn't easy for my significant other, of course, but
What were you looking for in a woman or a partner?
I want somebody to take care of me, to cuddle me, to, I've grew up, and to this day, I like my comfort zone, okay? I'm a snob, okay? Let's be honest here. I was raised in a very snobbish environment at the École des Roches in France, and then England, Wales.
So you want to be loved and taken care of, but you want your space too.
Yeah, oh yes, oh God, yeah.
That's a combination that's hard.
My space is extremely important.
So the first marriage, what happened? Quick, just like what did you learn from that?
We didn't click. We didn't. She's a great woman. She's a great mother, because really my kids, she raised them incredible. No, that's not the first. Sorry, the second. First one, it lasted. We were kids.
How old
It
were
lasted
you?
6 months, less than 20.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
And then the second.
But we lived together like a year and a half before we got married. I loved this relationship, and I loved her. She was a great lady, and but separation.
And the second marriage.
When I went to Lebanon, she went. She stayed in France, and then she came here. She lives here in Tarzana, by the way.
Okay.
I'm still
to know.
friend.
But
I'm
second-
friend with
Everybody-
every lady I've been with.
Second marriage.
Second marriage.
You had kids. How many kids?
Again, she's a great lady. I have 2 sons. They live in Nigeria. They work they have their own business in Nigeria. But she raised them incredible. Really, she was very tough, because sometimes I'm going to be very honest, I was very violent. It would kill me when I saw her, how tough she was with them. In Lebanon, schools were not easy.
Strict discipline.
They had to study until midnight. Do you believe that? And next day they had to go to school, because they study they had 12, 14, how do you call it, subject to study, geography, history, languages, etc. And it was very tough to see my kids staying up until midnight studying and then going the next day to school. That was very painful for me, because when I was in France, it wasn't like this.
Yeah, it was easier.
It was much easier.
Okay, so second marriage, it didn't stay that long, but your third marriage, you've been in this marriage till this moment, and hopefully many years to come, 30 years.
Yeah.
So what clicked in this marriage?
Um,
What is your formula now for a successful marriage?
Since
now you're in a very long-term relationship.
The most important for me, and I believe the key to a long-lasting relationship, space. People who ask me questions, where are you going? What time are you coming? Why did you do this? Why did you look at this beautiful woman? I don't like that. I cannot help it, but every woman that passes by, if she's beautiful, I have to look at her.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you understand? This is how I am. So, Min, my wife, she's Korean. She's a pastor. But before becoming a pastor, she was very understanding. She was never jealous. And I think that's very important.
When it comes to filmmaking, what is you did a lot of movies, over 40 films across the world, in the United States, in the Middle East, in Africa. Which one is your favorite?
The movies?
Mhm. We want to change the subject.
Okay.
Like
The
switch
movie,
it up.
look, making a movie is like having a child. If you ask a parent which child you prefer, and he tells you, then he's not normal. So I cannot tell you which movie is my favorite because they're all my favorite. Now, which one do I feel the closest, for example? Which one I feel that, because I invest as much to everyone, the one that was a success or the one that, you know, was unsuccessful. So I don't have a favorite. But the movies that impacted me was a documentary, actually, that took me 5 years to do. It's called Lebanon Why, Lebanon لماذا. That one really impacted me
In what way?
because I lived the Lebanese war, the first from 75 to 79. I was right in the thick of the war. I was the only person who would go East Beirut, West Beirut, with the Muslims, with the Christians. I went with everybody because I thought it was my duty to look at this war not as a Lebanese Christian, but to look at this war like a surgeon who is on the operating table. He opens this body and see what is wrong with it. That's what I did. And that's why I had a lot of people who hated me. My family denigrated me. They said that I'm a traitor to the Christianity. You have no idea what I went through. The Palestinian one time, in Tunisia, when I was showing the movie at the Carthage Film Festival, they said that I was sold to Israel, etc., etc. And guess what? The ambassador of the Palestinian, I mean, the guy who represented the Palestinian, the Al-Fatah, he stood up and I will never forget this. He said, "You bunch of ignorant, you bunch of idiots." This guy didn't take side. He was trying to explain what was going on. Where's the wrong and where's the good? And that they really made, I mean, it made me happy because that's exactly same thing when I was in Tehran. In Tehran, there was a riot in the theater. In Montreal, forget it. They had to close the cinema after 12 minutes because people were hitting each other, Christian and Muslim. They started shouting and they were looking for me. I was all the way in the back with a friend of mine, and they were saying, "Where's your Chamchoum?" And I was in the back.
I'm not sure.
I was scared you have no idea. They had to close the cinema. There were 17 police cars. You can read the newspaper about it. It was in the newspaper. So I believe I did achieve what I wanted to do with the movie. Not take a side, just show the cruelty of war, the cruelty of human beings. And
How did that impact you? Like being in that time for 5 years, seeing everything and actually making a story and doing the movie. But as a human, how did you feel?
It's okay. Let's rewind a little bit. When I was in college in Paris, it was 66 to 68. You weren't even probably born. No, you were not born. This was a very crucial years. That was a year where it was an upheaval. There was the right and the left. There were the socialist and the right wing, etc., etc. And I played. For me, it became a game. I played the game with them. I went with the leftists. I went with the Trotskyists. I went with the Leninists. I went with the Che Guevara people. I went with Ho Chi Minh people. I went with De Gaulle. I mean, I did everything. I would go into those cells. I would listen. I would, take things. And you know what I discovered? Lies. That's why I don't trust any political party. They are liars. All they think about is they think about themselves. Out of 1,000 politicians, maybe half one is honest. The rest, they take advantage of the people. And
That's politics, but what they're all
so
that
that's,
movies make.
well, that's what impacted me, because it was all, we still live in a period of where people lie, you know.
And how do you use your career and your talent and your experience to change change the narrative and share truth?
I tried,
Are
and
you
it's
successful?
not easy. It's not easy. That's why I turned to more commercial movies. But at the same time, even in the commercial movies, I would throw in something, you know, that is about social life or politics, but not like in your face. It's very undertoned. Okay, I don't trust politicians. I don't trust anybody who's in politics, and honestly, I don't trust any human being in the Western world. No, really, I'm very, very disappointed, because when I go to Southeast Asia, let it be Vietnam or Thailand, or when I go to China or Korea or Central Asia, you can still see people. You can see humans. You don't see robots painted in green dollars. They are human. They're great people. And I wish we would learn a little bit from those people, you know, because, and I suffer. I really, really suffer now. I'm an unhappy person.
You're not happy?
No,
Why?
because of what's happening to this world.
How do you feel?
It pains me, and I say, it pains
What
me,
hurts you the most?
especially, it pains me especially when I think about my grandchildren and their children. Where are we going? Where is this world going? We live in a world of lies, cheats, greed.
Okay.
There are so few people that are really good.
What hurts you the most?
Huh?
What hurts you the most?
The lies. The lies.
Were you lied to?
Yes. Did I lie?
No. Were you like people lied to you?
Oh, definitely. Of course they lied to me. But I mean, I'm talking in general, you know.
Did that change you? Like when I can tell when someone has been through a lot of disappointments from other people and has been deceived by a lot of people. How did that change you?
It didn't change me. The only thing that changed is my mood. I believed in humanity. I don't. I have
How
no.
can you get hurt and still try to be like good and still have a good heart? Because sometimes when someone hurt you, it's easy to. Some people change. They become like the people who hurt them. But I can see from even talking with you, and we talked before, that you've been through a lot of like pain and hurt, but that didn't change you. I came across an interview for you, and you said, I lead my life with my like feelings and with my heart, and you still do that. So how did you keep?
You know, my biggest problem is that I always believe that people are good, but the more I think that they are good, the more I discover that they are not good. People have become very selfish and very greedy, and I've had a lot of bad experiences, especially since the 90s, since I moved to this country. I'm not talking about Americans, I'm talking about everybody.
Yeah, the West in general.
I have been cheated. I have been, people stole from me. And the funny thing is, I'm still the same when it comes to people. Even though deep down, I'm very, very sad, but on the outside, I still want to believe that human beings are good.
But I think, George, it's very important because I love the fact that you didn't allow people behaviors and people like hate or whatever they did to you to change who you are. Like you stayed true to yourself. Because a lot of the people, when they go through, again, hurt or they get cheated on, they become like the people who hurt them. And I feel like the end goal of this life, for me personally, is to be true to ourselves.
Absolutely.
You don't want to live your life guarded and have a lot of caution and cautious and assuming that everybody is bad. I'm like you. I don't want to live my life like that. So I don't think because you were like acting like you feel like you should have changed. I don't believe that you should change.
No,
I
no,
think
no.
what's beautiful about you is
First of all, I cannot change. Even if
tried.
I try, I cannot. Okay, I mean, to this day, my closest friend, they warn me, watch it, this guy is no good. And it happens all the time. Watch it, George, you're going to get hurt. Please don't. I cannot help it. I still, somewhere I trust this person. And then at the end of the day, what happens? I get stabbed. So nobody is to blame but myself. I blame myself.
Do you blame yourself? What do you blame yourself for?
That I'm an idiot. I should listen to my friends. I should listen to the people who love me because I know who really loves me and who is with me for a reason. Okay? Because I consider myself a very rich person because I have a lot of good friends, loyal friends.
So wealth for you is friendship? Rich and wealth for you is friendship?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
For when it comes to your relationship with your father and a dad, how did you try to raise them? How would you describe your relationship with your children?
With my children? Oh, fantastic.
Were you more like your dad or were
yes,
you more
of course.
like your
I was a
mom?
dad when needed be, of course. But I was this kind of dad that I'm an open dialogue. I believe in dialogue. I believe in when a kid does a mistake, I don't scold him. I tell him, you made a mistake. Tell me why you made the mistake. Or how do you feel by making this mistake? Because, when we are kids, we tend to lie. Okay, say, oh, I didn't do this or whatever, And that's what I taught my kids is, please tell me, you made a mistake. You agree with me, yes or no? So dialogue is very important.
And friendship too. Your friend with your
friends. Look, I don't think anyone has as many enemies in Hollywood as me, because I'm a straightforward person.
Yeah.
I'm a straightforward person. I tell it as it is. Why? Because I want them to tell me. For example, if you see a hunchback, a guy has got a hunch. Yeah. I'm not going to tell, oh, what a beautiful back. I tell him, you have a hunch. So I want people to tell me the same thing. Tell me what is wrong with me, because that's what makes me better. That's what makes me better. I correct myself. But if you all the time, telling me you're a great guy, you're this and that.
So honesty and transparency for you are the most important thing.
Yeah, of course. The same thing when, for example, I show a movie of mine after screening. I know immediately who's lying and who's not, because the liars are the one who comes and hug you and tap you on the back. Great job. Then you know they're lying to you.
How did you survive in this industry? Like, you're so straightforward and so blunt for media, honestly, and film and Hollywood.
50,
how would you,
nearly 55
what
years.
helps you survive, and what kept you grounded in this industry? Because you can make a movie. You got an Emmy Award, right, for one of your movies, and you got a lot of awards. But then
I'm answering you the question.
Okay. So you have faith.
God. Yeah. Because no matter what, I always turn to him. And my wife, when she sees me sometime, I'm going nuts. She said, cast your burden to him, give him your burden. And it does help.
So your wife helped you? Would you say 30 years of this marriage with your wife, she played a role in grounding you too?
No doubt. No doubt. Even though there are a lot of things we don't agree on, she's very, very much into religion. And me, I am a very devout person, but there are other things in the world you
I
know?
love life.
Not everything is religion, but, you know, it's okay. Nobody's perfect.
If I ask you to describe your journey, you're 79 years old now. How would you describe your journey so far in life?
I can die in peace. I've done everything I wanted to do. With
You-
the ups and downs, I did everything I wanted to.
Do you regret anything?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I never regret. If the day I regret something, then I become bitter. No. That is something that does not exist in my
And if you go back in
vocabulary.
time, would you change anything?
Mhm.
If you go back in time, would you change anything?
I don't think so. No, I mean, no, I don't think so. Even though I know I made so many mistakes in my life, but you know, those mistakes make me grow up and be wiser.
What is your biggest mistake? You don't regret it. It shaped who
My
you are
biggest
today.
mistake is
Your-
trusting people. That's a huge. I'm trying.
How can we trust people and at the same time deal with the potential betrayal? Do you think there's a way?
I don't know. That's really. I've been struggling with this for a long time.
Me too.
You know, it's funny. I see someone. I see them that they're going to stab me in the back. I know it. I know it in my gut.
But you don't trust your intuition
But I still trust them. Yeah.
because maybe you want to see the good.
Yes.
You're persistent on proving that humans are still good. They have it in them.
Yeah. This is. Yeah. I trust too much. That's my problem, and I'm gullible.
You lost your mom 10 years ago.
Mm.
Where were you when she passed away?
I was here. I missed her by a day.
One day?
Huh?
One day?
One day, yeah. When I flew, she was gone.
If you made it that day before she passed away, what would you have told her or said to her?
What am I going to tell her that I haven't told her before?
Maybe something.
No. She knows. She knows.
She knows what? She knows what?
She knows my feelings. You know, my favorite time of the day when I go to Lebanon, because I always stay with my mother, is in the morning. Early morning, we wake up, we sit together, there's nobody. Because, you know, she has a hordes of people coming to the house. You know, they come and lunchtime, etc. Because my father was the kind of person, he said, never lock the door, never. And our table was always set for 12, 14 people, always. But after my father passed away, my mother had other rules. For example, after lunch until 4 p.m., nobody can get in. She wanted to be alone in the house. But my favorite time was in the morning when we wake up early, both of us, and we would sit together and we would talk. But most of the time we didn't even talk. We just there enjoying our company.
So if you had that day before she passed away and you had that morning where you guys woke up and sat and spent time together, is there something that you would want to share with her but you couldn't? And now if you knew, you would.
Honestly,
Did
no.
you tell her how much you love her?
She knows, believe me, she knows. You know, there's something I have to add. I was jealous, actually, of my sister because she would sit hours and hours and hours on end talking to my father. And I was always wonder, what are they talking about? I mean, sometime I would come home, go to my bedroom, sleep. This is when we were, you know, we were in our teenage, and then we'd be 20s and etc. because in the village we lived all in this villa, you know, and I would go to before I go to sleep, I would see my father and my mother, my father and my sister sitting, my eldest sister, sitting on the balcony talking. Then I wake up in the morning around 4 or 5 in the morning, because I go, you know, I walked, I go hunting, but in fact it wasn't hunting, it was just for the walk with my friends around 4 or 5 a.m. And they're still there talking. And I always wondered, and I never asked my sister, what did you talk about? What was the subject? Why? They would stay, I mean, really, hours on end, both of them. I was jealous of that because I wanted to know why.
Daddy's girl. She was daddy's girl and you were mommy's boy.
My father, I don't think my father he preferred one. He loved us all, really.
But he collected maybe the intellectual part.
But he felt, I think, a lot of inkling with my sister Rosie.
You mentioned Lebanon. What does Lebanon represent to you?
Lebanon is everything to me. Lebanon is everything, and they're killing us. The whole world is killing us.
How do you feel?
It's very, very sad what's happening. We are, what can I say? You know, anything that happens in the world, they come to Lebanon and they, I don't want to go there because I'll be very violent, and because I've seen everything. I've seen it all since I was a kid. And
what is your wish for Lebanon? Your wish for Lebanon, your
peace. Let us alone. We don't want anybody. It's very simple, really. You want to come, you're welcome. You know, the Lebanese people were very welcoming. We're very, our doors are open. Everything is open. You're welcome. Sit at the table, eat, enjoy, have fun. But let's leave us alone. Don't do your proxy war in Lebanon. Go do it somewhere else. What do you want from us? We always lived 17 different religions. We lived in peace. When I was a kid in Tripoli, because we were in Tripoli, in summer we go to the mountains. But Tripoli is the biggest Muslim city in Lebanon. I never knew who was Muslim or who was Christian. Never. I never knew. Yes, of course, sometimes it's easy because his name is Muhammad and the other guy's name is Michael. Then you knew who is Muslim and who is Christian. But we never differentiate who is Muslim and who is Christian. We're all one big happy family. And politics came, and they you know, all those militias and etc. Because militia with America, the other one with whatever and whatever, you know, and they killed us. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I believe in my heart, and nothing will change this. All the Arab countries and our southern neighbors, they were jealous of Lebanon. Why? Because we were happy people. We lived happily. We had everything we wanted, and they did everything to screw us, from the banking system to the tourism. And who gained? The Arab countries, of course. But who built the Arab countries? The Lebanese engineers, the Lebanese intellectual built the Arab countries, okay? So let's be honest, this is what it is.
If you have one more movie that you can work on, produce, direct, and make, what will it be about? Your last movie?
Musical, dancing.
Then you want to change. You want to switch it up.
Yeah, I don't want no more social stuff. I don't want.
You want musical one?
No more. I want happy movie. But Lebanon is in my blood. As much as I love Niger. Niger is, you know, I feel, you know, I really feel that I'm from Niger because I was born there. And I'm third generation from there. But Lebanon is something incredible. I mean, you can ask, I mean, you know, everybody
Lebanon.
knows. Yeah. Whoever went to Lebanon, they know what this country means. That's the real country of milk and honey. That's a holy land. Not the other land that they say it is holy. It's not. It's not, because they changed the narrative. They changed history to adapt to what they want. But Lebanon, Jesus walked in Lebanon. Virgin Mary lived in Lebanon.
George, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this great conversation. And thank you for making the time to come today.
You're welcome. Thank you.